following program may contain coarse language, suggestive dialogue, and discussion of violent imagery and sexual situations. It is intended for mature listeners who can tell the difference between facts and opinions.
We're assembling a team on this episode of the Toonami Faithful podcast. I am your host, Sketch, and with me I have...
Albuscrillo, the founder of ToonamiFaithful.com.
And...
Co-host, Kuro.
And...
Editorial writer, LaserKid.
And...
Social media dude and running this live stream, Steven.
And we're up to 5 people, and we still have a guest!
Hi, my name's Sam. I'm a writer for Toonami Squad.
Yes, I have assembled quite a team this week. So, we are gonna get right into it, talking about Lazarus after this brief bit of news, because there was a schedule update of sorts for April 26th? Yeah, April 26th, which is mostly the lineup that you are expecting. We got Lazarus at midnight, Common Side Effects at 12:30, Blue Exorcist at 1 a.m., the full hour of One Piece from 1:30 to 2:30, Naruto at 2:30, and Sailor Moon takes a week off. It is on the schedule for the next week, but at 3 a.m. there will be a special music hour. It is a Ginger Roots music movie based on their album Shinban Gumi.
Why at 3 though? Like I'd be down for watching that. Just don't put it on at 3 in the morning.
Probably for advertisement sakes, they probably want to put it on as late as possible. I remember back in the day, like they used to run music videos at 2 a.m. when Shippuden was running, because that was normally.
Those.
But that was just because that's when Shippuden was on. When Shippuden was on at 12:30, that's when they ran full-length music videos too.
Yeah.
So
I
it was just
those.
because Shippuden was short. Like they cut the opening and the ending was shortened, so they had like 5 minutes that they could fill.
That
But
sounds good too.
this really feels like a throwback to Midnight Run Special Edition.
It does.
A full hour of music. Pretty cool.
Down for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure we're all kind of scratching our heads but 3 a.m. though.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the question. Why 3 a.m.?
Because I love One Piece, but they've been burning through One Piece, and it would have been fine to take it off for a week.
Really? Because I think it would have been okay to keep it, because Dressrosa is pretty long.
I mean, you're still gonna get double One Piece the next week, but like just to switch it up a little bit.
Bump it and take off the 2 Toonami Rewind shows, because people who are staying up for One Piece are going to watch it anyway. So put the music video on after Blue Exorcist and let people ride that crazy wave with your hat and your music.
I saw a preview video for this Shinban Gumi special, and it's like a classic style anime. It's subtitled. It's really vintage style. It doesn't look quite like that because it's more cheaply made, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But it's got that vibe. It's got that look, and it's probably gonna get surreal. So it does feel like something that kind of fits 3 a.m. But at this point, you could get away with running pretty much anything on Toonami. So why even push this to the back of the block? But okay, it's cool that it's happening. It's a thing.
It's a choice.
Just remember that we have volunteered for free to be, the people you run by some of these ideas. Like, we can be your beta testers for free. Just all we want are t-shirts. But honestly, like, I could have told you, and I'm not even an entertainment expert, that this isn't the best move in terms of when to air this. Like, I feel like something like this, it's about the immersive experience and kind of the trippiness, and the throwback to music videos. Like, that's part of the Toonami experience. Knock it up a little bit, play it at 2, play it at 1:30. Like, that's the Toonami experience. We've all been living that for years. So maybe at 3 a.m. it'll feel trippier. I don't know.
Certainly might. It's neat. Really wasn't expecting a schedule update before May, so just having anything out of the blue is pretty cool.
Or they're just scraping the barrel.
But wait, I haven't made the obvious joke yet. Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think we might be getting more news soon. Maybe. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, probably, because there is an Aniplex panel at both Anime Boston and SakuraCon this upcoming weekend, and we are mere weeks away from when Common Side Effects and Blue Exorcist Season 1 should be finishing.
Sketch and I had a whole conversation about this. He thinks that they might announce a continuation of Blue Exorcist on the block. I am now thinking a lot more negatively, just because I've been burned before. I have been so hopeful that they would keep playing it, and it makes sense that they keep playing it, but I don't want to get my hopes up and think, oh, they're bringing Kyoto Saga, and then they not bring it, and then I'll just be full of disappointment and sadness. So,
well, at this point, I feel like expect nothing, and if it's not nothing, then hooray.
Yep. Hooray.
That seems to be an advisable position.
We can make the assumption that Lazarus subtitles are coming in May. That's going to be replacing either one of the One Pieces or Common Side Effects / Blue Exorcist. So
I'd watch that subbed.
I mean, to be honest with you, the fact that we're getting actually something new, like even just having a preview for what was the preview this last Saturday?
The Last of Us.
Last of Us, right. And then
a sort of kind of Sony production. Isn't that funny?
Yes.
Can I talk about how I don't think that was the best clip to be promoting that show?
Yeah, that wasn't the best, no.
It was intense, okay, but it doesn't really tell you anything.
There's no context in it. And it's like you're supposed to know, even if you watch the show, you're supposed to know what they're talking about, what's going on in the scene. It's like, no. And then he stands up and he's like, I did something wrong. And it's like, what? There's no answer into it. And he's like, I'm not going to tell you. Okay, so why put that even clip up there if they're not going to tell you anything? And
I did something wrong, but I'm not telling you because I'm in kindergarten.
I like the gravelly voice imitation though. That's amusing to me.
But even though the clip was ill-advised and not the best promotion, hey, Pedro Pascal on Toonami. That's
there we go. We got him.
Yeah, we got
him. We got the Mandalorian.
This is the way.
I was waiting for him to be like, I'm Batman.
No, he's Mr. Fantastic. He's
really well, maybe on the weekends he's Batman. Who knows?
Paul, that's a stretch.
See you did there. Oh,
nice. Yeah. So that's a schedule update, and it's not much, but it's something. Check it out.
It's more than we've had in a while.
It's something weird.
Hopefully, some good news is on the way.
Yes, hopefully, because, it's a darn shame to have this great new original show and not really have anything to air with it.
Well, I mean, it's got a prescription for another medical show, but,
Ha ha ha!
You could say it has a referral.
Yeah.
Yes, you could. I've been waiting to make that joke all day.
I'm so glad you did.
Well, which one of these is out of network? I bet Dr. Skinner is out of network.
I'd say Dr. Skinner's 100% out of network.
Yeah.
He's also
nobody
very,
can find him.
very, very sketch.
Get it?
Not that kind of sketch.
Not that kind of sketch.
All right, let's get into it for episode 2 of Lazarus, Life in the Fast Lane. So last time the intro was spoken by Joseph, and this time it's Leland talking about how the youth would put Hapna in their soda to get high because it was cheap and available. Like, they weren't doing any other drugs. They weren't drinking alcohol. Just Hapna in the soda. And all the adults were like, what are these kids doing?
The soda's really happening.
Because I was a little happened myself during episode 1. Does it actually have some kind of side effect that makes the kids like, I don't remember them saying that in episode 1.
They didn't say that in episode 1, but they implied that it does have some of that effect in this episode.
Yes. So basically, like, Hapna is like this all-curing drug, but it also has some side effects of...
Yeah, like, it's an all-cure, but like, it's not addictive. So...
but it is. Addictive. It is. They actually say it is.
Yep.
Okay, it's addictive.
I actually have a lot of questions about Hapna myself.
I do too. Yeah, that's what I'm not.
I have a lot of questions.
Something.
I happen to have a lot of questions. Yes.
I feel like I missed something because is it like taking an opiate? Is it, how addictive is it? Is it something you use once and that it works, or do you have to continue using it? Like, I just have a lot of questions about how the drug's supposed to work, and I don't like that they're going to do this trickle-in effect. Like, I'd like to have a little bit more information up front, because I have questions.
The question I have is, how did this get to market? They do address that slightly in episode 2. They asked the FDA.
Yeah, everybody's mad at the FDA. It's like,
how
could you put this out?
Because they go,
like, there's no precedent for a drug mutating after 3 years. It's like, why didn't you do more testing?
I actually have to agree, because a drug passing... I looked into this. I did my research to make sure I wasn't crazy.
So did I. It takes years to approve a drug.
12 to 15 years of testing before they'll approve a drug. So there should have been a lot of dead patients before this drug made it to market, that would have prevented it from coming to market. So what the hell happened?
Somebody didn't do their research.
Yeah, there's definitely some shenanigans here. I'm guessing that'll unfold as all of this comes out, but that's a legitimate question.
My headcanon is that Doge gutted the FDA.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but I can't.
I shouldn't. I'm
sorry. I'll cry.
I am sorry, but that is literally the only explanation I could come to.
You have to laugh or you'll cry. So
no, but you see, Skinner's such an upstanding citizen that are like, no, cool, it's cool, bro. Don't worry about it.
No, we just
anything I make can't possibly hurt you.
Yeah, no. That Skinner guy knows what's up.
Just trust me, bro.
We'll pass it under the "just trust me, bro" act of 2028.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you get back to it. I had to ask my questions.
It's fair. In the first episode's introduction, they do talk about how it's become like a painless wonderland of people who are taking it recreationally. So, and in this one, they make it very clear you do get a bit of a high off of it. So, and it's cheap and it's available. So, of course, the kids are going to take it.
My other question, though, is how are there not people who weren't taking it? You have people who refuse to take modern medicine. You're telling me that everyone took this thing? How did you get this?
That?
They make it clear that like humanity itself is going to die off. I'm like, I don't know. Them Quakers are probably not touching it.
There are 3 members in my family who would not take a drug because everyone was saying it's a cure-all. I fully believe that not everybody would take a drug, no matter how well marketed it is.
I agree. Now, would it be a lot of people? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be a substantial population. I'll just throw this out there. Maybe 30% probably wouldn't touch it. Because it's 3 years.
That's
like
about,
maybe
that's
after... And that's only like 3 years, right? So you can assume that that's a nice substantial number. Like, you're not going to have 90% people taking it. Like, there's still pockets of people who don't do vaccines, So, and that's been decades of research. So
You
I can
went-
imagine,
I
like,
was-
after 3 years of medication, people
I
not
was
taking the
100%
medication.
thinking that, but I wasn't going to
Yeah.
say it. But yes, exactly that.
Yeah. So I maybe this will all come out as the show progresses. I feel like we're getting the trickle bit of information because they're also trying to establish characters and establish storyline, and throwing a bunch of info dumping on you is probably difficult to absorb as a viewer. And it's not good storytelling, quite frankly. So
Those are all valid criticisms.
no, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I believe in the project. I think that they're
I
going
do
to tell
too.
us these things. These are my
These are-
observations.
The same. Like, I don't want to sound like, oh, this show's bad now.
No.
This show's
I
a
don't.
lot
I
of
think it's
fun.
great. It's great.
But this is the sort of thing that was absolutely running in the back of my head. I'm like, how did this
Yeah.
go 15 years without getting noticed?
Yeah, and I'm sorry for stopping you. I wasn't here for episode 1, so I have to like.
Nor I, so I'm in the same. We're in the exact same boat, Kuro.
Laser
Yes,
and
but
have
I
shit to
can't help
say.
but notice that both Paul and Sam are waiting their turn.
Okay, fair enough. Please continue, sir.
Okay, so we're assembling a team. Hirsch informs Axel that his wristband will burn his hand if he tries to remove it, and requests this whole group's assistance. Apparently all of them are on the line for some kind of legal matter. And they need to find Skinner, and she's offering their freedom in exchange. What is this? Some kind of Suicide Squad?
Yeah, the healthcare version.
Yeah.
But they did. But Axel's like, so we're like superheroes. We're like the Avengers.
Yeah, that's
Are they allowed to say that, like, legally?
Are they? I don't know, but it brings to question whether or not this actually is in the same universe as Cowboy Bebop and Carol and Tuesday and Space Dandy. Maybe all these pop culture references just kind of died out by the time of Carol and Tuesday. It's possible. Though I don't think Disney would let it. Anyway, Axel once again tries to take a hostage. He tries to take Chris hostage, but he gets zapped immediately because Hirsch is like, fool me once. So he decides to cooperate because he actually wants to meet Skinner. And then he asks the question on everybody's mind. Okay, show of hands, no judgments. Who happened to take Hapna? Okay, everybody. Okay. Though he puts his hand up last.
Yeah.
Flash to things around the world. We see people very furious at the FDA. Understandably so. There's a gardener that gets interviewed who works for Skinner. And this interviewer is trying to get any kind of anything out of this guy. He's like, wait, they buried a cat? Oh, yeah, that cat lived a good, long life. She's like, oh. Okay. And then we go over to that talk show that we saw a bit of in the previous episode where the host is talking to a singer named Lisa. Of course it's a singer named Lisa. And he's all like, well, ain't it a shame nobody's going to be listening to your new record? And she's like, yeah, that also means that nobody's watching this.
I love that clapback. That was
a good
beautiful.
one.
It was a good clapback. He had it coming.
He did.
So you might notice that their facility is rather vintage, and Axel comments that, hey, isn't this kind of, low tech for superheroes like us? It's like, no, it's camouflage. And he shows them by chucking a rock, which disturbs the kitty cat, and that's not okay.
Poor cat. What did it ever
It's not
do?
okay. Poor baby.
That
He's
cat
a
had some
chonker.
big cojones.
He's a chonker.
Big cojones on that cat. Yeah.
He's the mascot of the show.
Yeah, so far he's shown up enough to say, yeah.
2 episodes.
That cat is Dr. Skinner.
He turned
That's the best way to
himself
live
into.
life.
I turned myself into a cat.
Reincarnated as a cat.
This is the real plan for cats to take over the world, man.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense.
I, for one, welcome our new cat overlords.
I do too.
They could definitely do a better job.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's
run
not
my
get
house
political,
already.
even though this show gets very political.
Oh my!
It wears its politics right on its sleeve.
Yeah.
Of course, Joseph makes a point to tell Axel, I didn't really want you to join the crew. You're too much of a showboater. You're gonna compromise the mission. And Joseph is kind of the stickler. They're like, no, we're not doing this for profit. We're not doing this for gain. We're doing this to save the world. Like,
You mean
okay,
Doug?
buddy. Yeah. Was it Doug? Yeah, it is Doug. Yeah, Doug.
Yeah.
Sorry. Why did you call him Joseph? I don't know.
Oh no!
Doug.
It's a nice name.
It is a nice name. Now I'm wondering if I called him Doug in the previous episode. Whoops.
It was the JoJo reference, and you just didn't know it.
Maybe. All right. So this is where we get the info dump about Denise Skinner. But wait, isn't Denise a woman's name? He was, oh gosh, where was he born? I forgot to write that down. Istanbul?
Yeah, he was born in Istanbul.
Yeah, he was born in Istanbul. He lost his parents at a young age. Never married, never had kids. He was an all-around swell guy. Gave away his Nobel Peace Prize money 3 times. Let his patents lapse. How crazy is that? Nobody does that.
Yeah.
No,
He
nobody
also-
does that.
Also walked an old lady across the street, and one time he let a stray dog eat his sandwich. What a nice guy.
What a swell dude.
What a swell fella. Also, he tried to get a summit together for global warming, and wouldn't you know it, the Americans walked out first.
Yep.
Shocker.
Shocking.
Also,
Politics.
water is
That
wet.
would never happen.
Yeah, that
I
is the
think
most.
this is
I'm gonna
an
cry.
important detail, actually. He mentions that in 3 years, 3 years, the polar ice caps will melt, and at that point, a strong economy will be worthless when that happens. 3
Yes.
years.
Yes,
Hmm.
we know this. Oh,
He
I'm sorry, we're not
does-
talking
he
about
did-
reality.
He did say that humanity deserved to go out. I'm thinking this is connected.
Yeah, it's always the nicest guy. Always the nicest guy. So, they get a lead that involves looking into a disaster shelter in the company that makes them. And Elena's tasked with looking for Skinner using facial recognition software, which they admit might not work if Skinner changed his face. Chris and Axel go to the shelter, while Doug and Leland go to the company. And this is where we get the scene where Chris and Axel are driving along. She's like, so why were you, how many years were you in there? It's like, well, it was supposed to be for 888. Just like, get out of the car. I'm not riding with Leatherface.
Yeah.
Another
I
pop
love
culture
this.
reference.
I'm a criminal, but I ain't hanging with that kind of criminal. Makes
It's like,
sense.
look, I only had 3 years at first, and then I kept trying to get out because it's my hobby. It's like, man, that's a heck of a hobby you got there.
That's some bullshit exponential growth on one's prison sentence, though.
Oh yeah, it really is. Very disturbing. Very disturbing.
This is not a fun future.
No. As Leland and Doug drive along, Leland asks, "Hey, what they got on you?" Joseph's like, "Oh, just some misdemeanors, Doug, I'm gonna keep doing it. It's in my notes."
He had 8 escape attempts. 9 to get him over 800. 8 slightly under.
Really? Only that many? Doesn't seem that many. Now, mind you, he's 23.
So it's 3 times 2, and then that gets you 12. Times 2 gets you 24. Times 2 gets you 48. Times 2 gets you 96. Times 2 gets you 192. Times 2 gets you 384. Times 2 gets you 768. Times 2 on that gets you 1,536.
Like I said,
That
exponential growth.
That actually doesn't math correctly.
No, it doesn't.
Mathel this show.
Yeah,
Another fact check they failed at.
It doesn't quite get to 800, but we're somewhere in there.
It goes way beyond 800.
Well, to get to to get beyond it, yes. The 768 is as close as you're gonna get.
Yeah. Oh boy.
The Mathel continues.
Mathel continues. Right. So Leland asked Doug about it, and he says it's a misdemeanor. And Leland also says, it's just some petty crimes. Like, I totally believe both those cases. But Doug makes a point to mention that the real MVP, the real problem, the real wild card is Elena. Quiet, cute little Elena, who is a master hacker who has done some serious global hacking.
It's always the quiet
It's always
ones.
the quiet ones.
It's always the hackers.
It is always the hackers, yeah.
Always the nice ones. Could she be a far off ancestor of one Ed? Who could say? Who could say?
Stretch, but I'll let it go. I'll take it.
It's a possibility.
It's possible. It's fun to pretend.
It is fun. At the company for these shelters, Doug and Leland find nothing besides computers that recently stopped working, and they look like Apple computers, so that means they just passed their warranty.
Sorry, took a moment.
Oh.
Some guy pops out of the shadows and holds Leland at gunpoint, and I'm sorry, the way this guy talks makes me think of the Booty Warrior from the Boondocks. Look, we can do this the easy way.
Hard way.
I like the hard way.
Oh God!
And Doug's like, whoa! I don't know. It's you? You want to take an ear? You want to take a finger? Like, no, man. We're looking for somebody else. And it's clear they're looking for somebody else because another guy busts in yelling for somebody named Kobayashi. It turns out both of these guys are debt collectors, and they're like, oh, sorry, our bad. Didn't realize.
I guess this was their Kobayashi Maru.
I guess it was.
I was waiting for someone to make that joke.
Of course it's me.
And both of them offer Leland a job.
I love that. I love how it's like, we're the DEA, we're the FBI, we're superheroes!
Yeah, that's what's going on at the shelter where Axel and Chris find a guy tied up to a chair, and they're like, okay, is this Skinner? Doesn't look like he's Skinner. Maybe he changed his face. But there's several other factions that show up. And you know what? Props to the dub. They got some good Russian. They got some good Spanish. I think some other languages in there too. But they mentioned there's Russians. Chris said that there's Russians. And
always Russian.
Axel says that there's Mexicans. His last name is Gilberto. And then the FBI and the DEA show up. And at this point, Axel is all like, all right, I'm getting in here. I'm shooting up. He also points out that he has this charm around his neck, and he says, anytime I'm wearing this, I feel invincible. It's probably going to come up at some point. Chris is just befuddled by the way Axel is acting, but this is the moment where they're like, FBI, DEA, Lazarus, put down your weapons.
I got a finger.
Who?
We're superheroes. I hate that line read. I should have done another.
Yeah, that they should have done another line.
I'm sorry,
read.
Jack Stansberry. You're doing a good job, but that was
he is doing great. But yeah,
he's fun. He's a lot of fun as Axel.
He is.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the guy in the chair isn't Skinner. They do a little DNA thing, take some blood, a little DNA. It's Kobayashi. Who's this Kobayashi guy? Some old guy that was always down on his luck, couldn't get things to go his way, and then he decided to take Hapna to end it all sooner, and then realized, oh, that doesn't actually kill me that fast. Maybe
it'll kill you, just not that fast. It takes 3 years.
Maybe this is fate telling me to live a little longer. Oh wait, everybody else is gonna die.
Yeah.
Well, that's rough. But we have another lead, as back at the base, Elena has found Skinner. Actually, she found a whole lot of Skinners. And 28 days remain.
Will the real Skinner please stand up?
This is some Laughing Man stuff.
This is some Laughing Man shit. You're right.
It is. It is.
There's a lot of Ghost in the Shell in this DNA. Little Ghost in the Shell, little Lupin, certainly some Bebop. Oh, hey, we got the opening in this one. And we got the ending shortened. This is your own show, Toonami. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't
that's weird.
I can understand in the Thursday airings when it's off of Toonami. Okay, shorten things, but really? Just shorten it? I think they did that maybe just this week because of the Last of Us clip. But we'll see.
What a great opening. It's very big band music. And you can definitely see the influence from previous works in terms of the style, but obviously the musical influence, it differs from, it's not the hip hop like Samurai Champloo was, it's not the jazz like Cowboy Bebop was. It felt very big band to me, and I loved it. I loved the big noise. I loved the cohesion. I love the way the music kind of played into the way the opening was showing the character silhouettes. I thought it was really elegant. It's very stylish. It really fits in well with this creator. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we now watch the first 2 episodes. Paul, what do you think of Lazarus so far?
Well, I wouldn't say Avengers, I would say Suicide Squad, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Suicide Squad of anime. And you kind of stole
already
what I was
exists.
gonna... What was that? I'm sorry.
That already exists, Suicide Squad anime.
But this is basically if Watanabe did Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not lost on me that the voice of Doug is also the voice of Deadshot in Suicide Squad Isekai.
So, agree. Like, there's a lot of Ghost in the Shell references in this show. It's not even funny how much there is, like, all those references in there. I really like it so far. I mean, it's interesting because it's definitely building to something. And you know what? The Laughing Man actually is a good reference for this, because at the end there, when they're like, well, wait a minute, there's like 50 different of him like walking around, and they're like, how is that possible? And it's like, oh yeah, Laughing Man. Like, it's not literally Laughing Man, but it's one of those, it's kind of similar, because like, how is he putting all these faces on all these people? Or is he just doing it digitally so they can't track him? So
yeah, good question.
It's very interesting to see where this is going. The whole like looking at 50 different cameras, that definitely was Ghost in the Shell, because I felt like that's what they did all the time, was like look at things like in that manner. So it's interesting. So,
oh, sure. Everybody was upset when Batman did it, but it's okay if this girl does.
Yeah.
Privacy be darned.
So, I'm going to reserve most of my thoughts until we get through a couple other episodes before I sit there and go, oh, this is great or whatever. But so far I'm enjoying it. I think it looks like a series that actually could be very successful. And I mean, as we've seen over the last 2 weeks, it's trending in the top 10 on Max. It's doing really well on Apple TV and iTunes. And even anime trending has it on its list of
it was
one of the top 10.
It was 5th this past week.
Yep.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's nice to see the broader anime fandom catching on to this one. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Now Sam has seen the first 5 episodes.
Yep.
But I'm sure we can trust him to just talk about these first 2.
Of course. So if I'm talking about the first two, I would say like episodes 1 and 2 are the setup, whereas like the rest of the series, at least from what I've seen, kind of feels a little bit more. I think episode 2 and 1, they're setting things up for the rest of the series. So without getting into it, episode 2 sets things up for the future episodes, at least for the ones that I have seen, so the 3 episodes past this. But I feel like for me, episodes 1 and 2, they get the point across very well. But I feel like if you didn't click with you yet, just keep watching, because I think it'll start to make more sense and everything will start to click later on. So that's a complaint that I've heard from a few people, including people in Toonami Squad and community as well. It's like, oh, if it's not clicking with you soon, just keep watching it. It'll all make sense pretty soon.
Okay. Any standout moments in the first 2 episodes for you?
Well, in episode 1, obviously the chase scene with Axel, very well done, especially at the end when he jumps off and lands on the drone and flies all the way down. That's a very well choreographed scene and really just well done and well directed in general. And then in episode 2, the fight sequence with all the with everyone in the corridor, that was also a really standout moment for me. Very well done. Also, like, the music in the show is phenomenal. Oh, just from like the first 2 episodes, it's just wonderful. They really went all out. Like, I love it. I love Bonobo, so I knew I was gonna like the soundtrack to this a lot. So it's the soundtrack is just phenomenal in Lazarus.
And they released 3 soundtracks. Yeah, one from Bonobo, one from Floating Points,
and then Kasami, Washington.
Yeah. Yep, you can get them all on Spotify. You can get them all on iTunes.
You definitely count on Watanabe to use a great soundtrack.
Oh yeah, the man is an absolute master at making movement to music.
I also feel like the setup part, that seems to resonate with his previous titles as well. Like I feel like everything I've watched of his, and I'm just using Shampoo because that's the one I've seen the most frequently. You know, those first 2 episodes, again, they're just setting up, but you still get sucked in enough to the story. But if you're thinking about it, reflecting back on it as a whole, like, yeah, that was just the toe in the water. That was just dipping in. You know, we're getting a little taste of this. There's a lot more pool there to dive into.
And I would always say, like, for it to be like set up, I can understand for some people they kind of want to get things moving and everything plot wise, but I feel like it's necessary to have this set up in order for things to start making more sense as the series progresses.
I would agree. Honestly, it seems like they they wasted no time reiterating all the things that we knew from the press information. It was like, okay, this is the situation. These are the characters. So now on to new information. Laser, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm enjoying the show. The characters are amazing and fun to watch interact with each other and the situations. I really enjoy the comedy of the moments of like, oh, wait, we're all here? Oh, oops. And I think the situation, although I've criticized or noticed that, something's off with a drug, it's an interesting idea to have this guy who is this ultimate philanthropist lose faith in humanity and design its downfall. And yet he's still trying to give him a quote unquote a chance. That's an interesting antagonist, and I really want to see more of what's going on there.
How did they not cast John Swayze as that guy?
I don't know.
Hohenheim, Gendo Ikari, take your pick.
Yeah.
Not that David Matringa isn't doing a great job, but he sounds too young for this character. Though we do see Skinner younger at points. But.
If I could say, I was kind of thinking about this a minute ago, and I'm like, I don't know if I really want to say this, but I think it's hilarious. What if at the end of this, like, it's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Oh, look, you won the golden ticket. Everything's good now. and then they're just looking at him like, dude, you almost killed us.
You almost committed genocide. Hello?
By the way, it seems like because he didn't get his way, like, oh yeah, by the way, everything's melting. And all the countries just walked out. Like, it's like, oh, well, I didn't get my way, so guess what? You all die.
Yep, this tells us a lot about this guy.
Yeah.
He cares, but he's also kind of selfish in that my way or literally everyone dies.
He's
maybe
judgmental.
his bullshit threshold has just reached a peak.
Yeah. Clearly the guy snapped. He tried to see the good in humanity, and he was left wanting. So now they got to prove themselves by finding him, because that's how you prove the worth of humanity, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of... Obviously, humans can be kind of slick sometimes. A lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been around humans. We all know. We are humans. We know. But at the same time, the conclusion of that, therefore I will kill everyone, I don't have a lot of sympathy for that.
No, not at all.
How if he wasn't doing that to kill people?
It's going to, though!
No. How if he was lying? How if this was a whole grand experiment without medical ethics behind him?
Would do. I don't hate the guy as much. That was my
thought, too.
But
I thought maybe he's lying.
If that's the case, I tilt my head and go, what are you trying to do, guy? Because you're going to get people killed because you just, in general, you create a mass panic. What did you think was going to happen?
Good point. Either way, there's definitely a lot of blood on his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm becoming cynical, but I kind of feel for this guy right now.
I feel...
No, I'm sure a part of us all do.
I feel for his pain. I do feel for where he's coming from.
No,
but his conclusion is...
It's not even about himself and his feelings. Okay, so it's not... I don't think it's a mistake that there are two shows going right now that have been directly influenced by various perspectives of the healthcare industry. It's really hard to not take something from that. And maybe that's just like a lot of creators are influenced by the environment around them. They're not necessarily looking to make a statement. It's just one of those things that creeps in. And then, of course, the viewer will take their own perspective. But here you have, like, on one hand, you have Common Side Effects, which is presenting this cure-all that's being kept from the people. And then you have Lazarus, which is, here's this cure-all that was given to the people. It was abused, and it was not quite the cure-all everyone thought it was. It's a really interesting juxtaposition, especially reflecting on how it is impacting the characters in those different storylines, and how, as viewers, like, what is our experience seeing this? I mean, yeah, this is fiction, but like, we bring a little bit of ourselves to the things we're watching, and
absolutely.
And I feel like I'm seeing Dr. Skinner, and I just don't feel like I have the full story with this guy. I don't know. They're pulling him out, this big philanthropist. He did all these generous things. He made one effort to try to say, okay, now I've done a lot for you. Now you have to do your part too. It was thrown in his face. So he's had enough. He withdraws from society, and he's like, well, you all fucked yourselves by becoming dependent on this medication. I didn't tell you to become addicts. I didn't tell you to only use this. You chose to. So everything that's happened to you has been your choice as individual humans. You're the one bearing the consequences of this. From that perspective, if I dig into that, like I kind of get that. I feel for that. It says something about.
I can't agree with that though, because
no, you don't have to. This is just me.
He put it on the market as a cure-all. He advertised and put it out there and said, "Hey, take this to cure your pain."
We should stop calling it a cure-all. It's not a cure-all. It's
a pain reliever. Yes,
it's a pain reliever.
Yeah, and there are other agencies that were involved in this process. There was, as they mentioned in this episode, the FDA. They didn't do their part in this.
Certainly,
and every individual
who
takes this medication knows what they're doing when they take it. So, like,
they don't know that they're taking their death, though.
I don't think it's fair to put this on him. You as an individual, no one's forcing you. No one forced these people to take these meds. They made a choice.
So if a medication doesn't tell you that it's going to kill you, that's okay?
Well, they
tell
that on commercials all the time.
So
people take them anyway when they say.
Do we have to say all that?
Yeah, but that's the thing.
For ice chips.
If I can jump in here,
yes, please do.
So it's funny that you say, about death, but it's like, you have, and I mean, they said this in the first 2 episodes. You have people taking these drugs, trying to kill themselves in some cases, but in kids' cases, drinking it like soda, and some of these idiots are trying to kill themselves on it, and it doesn't kill them, but then ultimately in 30 days they're going to die from it, which is ironic because it's like this is a cure all be all, so to speak, right? And normally when you take too much of a drug, it affects you, or it could kill you.
If you're abusing the drug and it kills you, I got no sympathy for you.
Oh yeah.
But like a lot of people have serious pain issues that there's nothing you can do about. This is a real world issue. And if you come out with this medication and go, "Hey, this will help you," of course they're going to, and it's been tested and everything. Well, these innocent people are going to take it and they're going to die. I don't have sympathy for the guy who puts that up and kills these people who are desperate and in need of help. And you're like, "I can help you." Tee-hee, I'm going to kill you? No.
That's what's happening. There's a part of me, that's with Sam here, that thinks this is all a massive, like...
And that could be.
Gotcha.
And if that's the case,
Steven, actually.
Yeah.
Steven, sorry.
And that could well be, and if that's the case, then my opinion would change. But as it is... I mean, he's the one that's saying that, and again, my stance of, well, then you're creating mass panic for no reason, good job, would still stand put. But I mean, details matter. If things change and the situation changes, my thoughts and opinions would change with it.
Now, obviously, people have abused this drug because it is readily available and very cheap.
Very much
Which
so.
is also kind of strange. Why is it cheap and readily available if it's
because
so good?
He wanted people to take it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he wanted this outcome.
I guess so. But, okay, so part of it is like, okay, so obviously people are going to get addicted to that. Now, if it was the case where if you had it every now and then, or even if you had it for severe pain, which a lot of people live with, then it doesn't kill you, but if you abused it, it killed you. That would be something, though there is a fine line there. But no, it seems like if you've taken this, it stays in your system and you die.
Wait. I just had an idea here. Wait a minute. So when they do research on drugs, right? There's always the focus group. One half of the focus group takes the actual drug. The other half of the focus group takes a placebo.
Placebo, yep.
So what if this drug, because, and it would explain it, because that makes more sense to me. What if this drug is just a placebo and people are taking, I mean, not sugar pills per se, but they're taking this thing thinking it's a drug and it's an end all be all, but in reality, it's nothing.
Well,
so you
that's
come
It's
to
just extra strength Tylenol.
Yeah,
that's a variation on what Steven and I were saying, that this is a massive troll on behalf of the doctor's part. It's possible.
Exactly. And I think that would be really interesting if that's what this is. And he's trying to just make a point.
I think that's that one I think is incredibly unlikely because it has an effect. Placebo can have an effect, but you're not going to get the massive results people have on this without doing something.
There's two types of placebos. There's a placebo, and then there's a nocebo. The placebo gives you usually a positive effect. Usually there's really nothing happening with that, but there's only positive. Nocebos are when you take something and stuff bad happens to you, even though it's like a sugar pill. You believe that this is something deadly to you, and your body reacts that way.
Sure. But again, this thing has been on the market, and people have used it for pain relief, and it's worked on a massive scale.
But that's what I'm saying to you. Like, people psychologically may be thinking that this drug is actually a drug that's helping them, that's, you know, providing this high, providing this this cure-all to whatever is ailing them, when in reality it's all in their head because they think that's what it's doing.
You can do that on a small scale. On a large planetary scale, it's not going to work that effectively.
But see, here's the thing, Laser. The only reason I'm saying this is because, and I wouldn't say it if it wasn't the fact that you got these kids drinking it.
Yeah. So you're telling me these kids are putting this nothing in soda and it's making them get high?
I'm telling you that it's not doing anything for them. It's really just.
Then how are they getting high? Just off soda?
But they're not getting hurt by it. That's the thing.
Paul, it's got to be something or it's not going to have any effect.
I mean, but think about this. If this doctor is trying to send a message.
Sure, but again, it does things. A placebo works on some people, but it never works on everyone. You test for it because it is a psychological thing that can work, but it's not going to work on a massive global scale.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm not saying, Laser, that it isn't what you're saying, because it probably is, but you have to entertain the fact that this could be that, because
no, I don't, because it doesn't matter.
If it's not killing people.
It doesn't match the situation.
This is so early. This is just as a wacky a theory as any other theory, Paul. So to be fair to Laser, like, I disagree that he has to entertain it. Like, we're all just postulating here, and we have very little information with which to base
the idea that it isn't going to kill you, that is a viable argument.
We don't know.
We don't know, and that's fine. That I agree is worth considering. The idea that it literally is nothing, that just doesn't match what we have seen it do. We know that it does. That literally is impossible given what we've seen.
So all I'm saying is as of right now, with the information we know just in these 2 episodes, it kind of seems like that maybe this is something that wasn't. I mean, let's just take the word drug out of it. Maybe it's not even a drug. Maybe it is something else, because if it's, I mean, I don't even know if it's really addictive, because I didn't really get
We know that it is.
We already
was it
had
addictive?
this
We know that it's
discussing
addictive.
this.
Okay.
Yeah, we already discussed this. Paul, I gotta say, I always expect a crazy theory from you. This is not the direction I thought you would go in.
It's not, but it's not really.
He's keeping you on your toes.
It's not really a crazy thing, though. Like it.
That's
just,
what you always say. You like, I'm so reasonable. Here's my absurd theory. It's so reasonable.
The problem is it doesn't fit with what the facts on the ground are. That's the problem with it.
You mean like the kid being alive that wasn't alive? Sorry.
Dr. Skinner is the kid that's alive.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to point out, because I didn't get a chance to finish this thought. I think it's really interesting to have 2 different series have a sort of commentary on the effect of pharmaceuticals on our life, but from different perspectives. With one saying, we have a lot of it, but we don't need it. There's something that can fix it without all these things that we're being kept from intentionally, and another one that is, oh, this works, but it has a very heavy, heavy price. I just thought that was an interesting observation, and it's really relevant. I think.
Oh,
I think
God,
everybody watching this. Yeah, everybody
Well,
watching
not
this
to
has
say
some.
too much, but there's some heavy price involved with taking the Blue Angel too.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Just from what we've seen, it's some sus things happen to people that take that.
Hey, we've heard the the spiel the lawyers say very fast on those commercials. We know what those side effects are, and I love that we can joke about it now, given the context.
But death is generally
yes,
an
it
uncommon
has a
side effect.
Yes,
Yeah.
it could cause massive diarrhea, but she's like, oh no, why did he say diarrhea in front of all those people? Sorry, it was just a funny CSE moment. Yeah, I think that I like that these animated series are really thought provoking. It's not just something that we can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also like with there's Ghost in the Shell had these conversations. I feel like what was the one where they had the criminal, they would rate your criminality, and then they
Psychopaths.
Psychopaths.
Yeah.
Psychopaths had the same level. Like a lot of these really excellent shows will challenge us to kind of think outside of our comfort zone. And
a good story will do that, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good
Mhm.
story, but it doesn't mean necessarily that we have to take reality into it. We can just see it as purely fictional and as a thought exercise and be interested in it. It's just I just feel personally, with it being such a relevant topic in our day and age, and within our age group even, and within various family members, every person I'm sure here, and every person listening, has a person in their lives that would benefit from a pharmaceutical like this, like a miracle drug. All of us would. And it's hard not to think about that when you're watching this, like, God, if only. Like I said, like 2 weeks ago, I barely remember the first episode for reasons.
You know what we need? We need some ninja robots.
No, we absolutely do not.
Yeah, we do not need ninja robots.
Keep those out of Lazarus, please and thank you.
Powers in you.
I don't think they're up to that level of technology. Like, they got some pretty snazzy cars, and they got some computers and drones and stuff, but it's not even Ninja Kamui level tech yet, which makes me think, if this is in the same universe as Carol and Tuesday, Cowboy Bebop, and Space Dandy, it's before Carol and Tuesday for sure, because they have space travel in that, and they don't seem to have space travel in this.
And their life is very idyllic, so it looks like everything works out in the end. I like happy endings, so I'm gonna stick with that. I like it though. I like where it's going. Interested to see what else. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, real good so far.
Absolutely.
Please keep it up.
Yes, please make it all the way to the end without doing something dumb.
It's just going to be interesting if, like, at the end of this, like, they capture him and he's like, "Oh, by the way, you don't have to worry. It's not going to kill anybody."
Yeah, by the way, it was just a prank, bro.
And Steven's going to be like, "I told you all."
Steven said it first, probably, maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
He'll take credit, though.
Yes, I will.
I think that'll do it for Lazarus. It's been a good couple of episodes. We've had some conversation about it. Anybody got any final thoughts before we close up on Lazarus?
If
Lazarus
someone offers you a cure-all, don't do it.
Yeah. If somebody offers you something that will take all your pain away, at least think about it.
Wonder what it is that causes that to happen, because that's not normal.
No, it's not.
I wonder how many days it's going to take for them to find him.
30 days.
Well, now that's interesting.
29.
So far, exactly 2 days have occurred, and we know there's 13 episodes. So they gotta speed up at some point.
Would you take the Blue Angel or would you take the Hapna?
No.
No.
That's the correct response.
Look, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. If the Blue Angel would get rid of my gout and my intestinal problems, I'd probably take it.
I think I'd only take the Blue Angel.
I don't care that much about pain.
I think I would only take the Blue Angel if, like, I was dying.
Of unnatural causes.
Yes.
I would take the Blue Angel once. Like, I would not take it like candy the way Marshall does.
I just don't want to have Dengakumon coming after me in my nightmares.
I know. Okay, so I went to see Princess Mononoke 4K screening, and it was just trying me. Oh man, those little guys.
Yeah, they're
just
the guys
like
from
them.
Dragon Quest.
Oh yeah. My thoughts goes to Bobobo with
you're talking about
Dengakumon,
too.
but
A very unexpected correlation for me was a particular line of common side effects. You ever hunt wild boars with landmines? You don't get much meat, but it's not much work. And if you've seen Mononoke, you know.
yeah.
You know.
If you know, you know.
You know. Yep. Okay. Well, Paul, you going to stick it out for Blue Exorcist, or is this where we part ways?
But this is where we part ways so I can actually sleep.
Okay, well, before you go, tell the folks about the very cool interview we did.
Well, I'm going to let you say the name because I'm going to butcher her last name. I really am.
Okay. We had Stephanie Nadolny on the, of course, the incredible voice of young Goku, young Gohan in Dragon Ball things. And she recently returned for Dragon Ball Daima as playing Goku Mini, which is adult Goku in tiny body.
That was the voice of like
she does
Shingo
so
and,
good.
Yeah. Fantastic performance. And
Absolutely.
it was a fantastic interview. We had a ball. We had a ball, a Dragon Ball.
Yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. So what I think I'm going to end up doing is I am going to, depending on when Sketch wants to put this episode out, what I'm probably going to do is, because we've neglected our Patreon people too much, probably going to let them listen to it first. And then a couple days later, again, depending on what Sketch would like to do, we will have this interview out either before you hear this podcast or after. So we'll figure that part out and you'll hear it at some point, but it will be very, very soon.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, Paul. We bid you farewell and don't take any miracle painkillers.
Wait, does it help me sleep?
Probably.
Yeah. Like
all right, give me that.
It will help
that
you
shit.
sleep forever.
Don't drink that sleepy time tea. It'll kill you.
Wait, why do they taste like sugar pills?
Does it really
Have a
kill
good
you?
night.
The Tic Tac.
No, Tic Tacs don't kill you.
Or do they?
What kind of Tic Tacs?
Oh, Jesus, I'm leaving. Goodbye.
T-Sketch!
Cyanide Tic Tacs.
It's definitely a market for that.
Yeah.
Missing here. I feel like there's an inside joke and I'm missing it because I'm very concerned about sleepy time tea now.
Oh no.
No, I'm just referencing common side effects when...
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, when Francis is like, oh, I just take their sleepy time tea, Eve's Holistics. And it's like, throw it out. That stuff's killing you.
Okay. No.
Marshall might be just a
I didn't
tad
make the connection.
too paranoid.
Yeah.
With good reason.
Tad.
To be
With
fair,
good
he's earned
reason,
it.
but yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot of people after him, so... Yeah. He up to where Toonami is right now. Oh boy, things are things are something for Marshall.
Yeah, maybe it gets worse. Maybe it gets worse.
I honestly feel bad it took me so long to get started on it because it is a very good show.
Well, you know what that means, Sketch. More fun fungi facts, which is what really matters here.
Is there much room for that?
There is so much room for that.
Excellent.
Yes. But not this time. This time we are talking about the exorcists that are blue.
Dabba dee, dabba die.
Dabba dabba dee.
So we're picking up right after the mixed fun birthday party where everybody got a birthday party.
And you get a birthday party. And you get a birthday party.
Yes, a birthday party for everybody. It was a cute little filler where we get right at the end as Yukio's being emo by himself that he learns the monastery was attacked. The monastery being the place where him and Rin were raised. So the crew all arrive there and discover it covered in a strange type of thick webbing, and many of the monks are encased as well, and it can't seem to be undone or disintegrated. It seems to be somehow indestructible.
It's very hardened.
Yes, and there's a message left carved into part of the wall in Polish that translates basically to "I won't forgive anyone related to Satan," and reports of a person, we should say, in a mask, fleeing the scene after the attack, and the investigators determine that the web is somehow demonic. Well, I could have told you that.
The fact that it can't be cut through should have been the first hint.
Yeah, and of course, because they're brothers, and this is like pretty much par for the course for these two, Rin and Yukio fight about Rin going after the masked person by himself. Well, Rin goes off anyway because that's what he does, and encounters the masked figure in an alley. And he goes to draw his sword, but his sword is encased in the webbing, and he's unable to draw it. Fortunately, Shura arrives, and then Yukio pursues the masked figure. And en route to the pursuit, he goes into a clock tower because that's like the villain place. That's where villains go. It's old clock towers.
The old clock tower.
It's tropey, but I kind of love the old. I like the old clock tower trope better than the underground trope. Clock towers are just interesting because there's gears and shit. So he encounters Neuhaus there, and he accuses him, but Neuhaus denies all responsibility. And the clock tower implodes, I guess. Something kind of happens, and
there's like a claw that comes out of nowhere and
and then
breaks the gears.
Yeah, but it's interesting, and Neuhaus is able to escape. It's unclear if he caused it or if it was caused by something else. In any case, later on, Shura recalls the hole that had been opened up previously in a couple episodes ago in the barrier, and that hole she had followed through that linked to the abandoned laboratory where they discovered all the stuff about the experiments and all that jazz. And then Rin is arguing with his brother, again, because that's what they do, about pursuing Neuhaus, which ends with Yukio tranquilizing Rin. This is a really healthy relationship, guys. The instructors pursue Neuhaus because this Rin, he's like, Yukio's like, we're gonna do this my way, we're gonna do this with the instructors. So he's got his van full of them, and they're pursuing Neuhaus into the aforementioned creepy underground area. Because there's always an underground scene. Always. The villains always go there. And they find him, they find Neuhaus, and he summons his creepy hands, and one of the instructors ends up covered in the mysterious unbreakable webbing. In the meantime, Rin wakes up from being tranquilized, and Shura lectures him about pursuing the enemy without controlling his flames, and forces him to get back to his candle training, basically equating the candles to his friends, saying, this isn't just any time. Every single time you do this is the last time you could be doing it. She really makes it real for him finally, and I think Rin up until that point hadn't taken it seriously. So This might be the moment that it actually works. Stay tuned. Meanwhile, back underground, the teachers conclude that Neuhaus has an accomplice, and they get a call that the masked figure has now moved to the boys' dormitory, where the figure is attacking Ryuji and friends. Then Fellas shows up, and he's about to cast a giant spell wreathed in flames, but Angel shows up and puts it out with water because he's a big party pooper. Man, I don't like this guy.
Oh god, freaking Angel's just.
I never liked him. I don't even
He's
like
not.
him.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I was gonna say he's not quite this bad canonically, but he's still not great.
But I don't like him then either. He's arrogant, and I don't like Yukio for the same reason. So it just goes to fall. I don't like arrogant characters. It's just a big turnoff for me. So he goes to arrest poor Fellas. Man, this is like the second time he's been arrested. This time it's under suspicion of being involved in whatever was going on at the abandoned lab. And Fellas, as he sort of escapes but goes along with them, he's like, well, you're not taking me, but I'll go with you. Understandable. He questions the timing of Angel's arrival. I agree, it's very convenient.
It's, not the best timing.
Yukio, in the meantime, decides to go into the building himself, forbidding the teachers from calling Rin. I don't know what kind of authority he has to make that call, but okay, sure, follow the 15-year-old. Listen to the child here, not yourself and your experience. Anyway, this figure has the boys held hostage through the webbing. And we get a shot of some hands, and those hands look rather delicate, rather feminine, might I say? And the figure picks up Shima's cell phone with those lovely hands and calls Rin, luring him out there. And meanwhile, like, Yukio's sitting there like, no, I wanted to do this myself. Or rather, upset that Rin's gonna get hurt. Who knows? Probably the former. So he has to act quickly now because his brother's coming and he doesn't want to lose his opportunity to be a hero. Oh, wait, no, that's just my interpretation. He uses this holy water decoy bomb to distract the masked figure so that he can shoot them with another tranquilizer bullet, but it doesn't work, and he's caught by the webbing as well. Just in time, Rin arrives, along with Shura, and surround the figure with the rest of the exorcists, but the figure has their own backup in the form of some spider minions. Rin uses his flames to burn the webbing and reveals that he has in fact learned how to control his flames, and he's able to burn all the webs down without harming his friends. Eat that, Yukio! I mean, spider person. Yukio, is having his typical teenage emo moment of jealousy of his brother because his brother saved the day. I'm trying to withhold my derision of this child man, but I'm having a lot
it's
of trouble
only going to get worse.
And it's only going to get so much worse.
I'm struggling because I can't stand him.
Girl, I see so many parallels to our last time you and I talked about Blue Exorcist.
I know it is. It's funny, and I don't want to.
I don't want to say too much there, but
yeah, I don't want to go too far off topic. But it is interesting because the last time we were talking about this, we had Lum on, and Lum pointed out that when they made this story, they did not have enough of the story actually written. So it's interesting that there are little tidbits of this story that do reflect on the canonical story.
Although I do have one moment where it's completely the opposite, and I was just laughing.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of those. Like
the one that got me was literally Yukio going, Rin, I want to help you. And Rin goes, I don't need your help. And I'm like, oh, that feels like that should be in the opposite.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. No, Rin's a lot more collaborative with his brother than Yukio
it felt
it's the other way around.
Character.
Yukio's the one who doesn't want his brother's help.
Yeah,
Rin
so that felt
wants to be the helper.
A little out of character, but I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. So, the mask has fallen off, and it reveals a woman. And then Neuhaus shows up to defend said woman, who turns out to be his wife.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, but then they escape. She escapes, and Neuhaus is captured. So back at the monastery, Rin uses his flames to burn the webbing off the other monks, and Yukio is out sulking by himself when another monk shows up to say he has someone he should meet. And we cut
Have
to
you
a
ever heard the
scene.
tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Yeah. So we get to a scene on a train, and because it's always on a train, the villains always got to have their own train.
But nothing bad ever happened on trains.
When I have my supervillain arc, I want to be on a boat just to be different. Like, I don't want to be on a train. Even though trains are cool, like, I want to be on a boat just to be different from all the other supervillains.
Supervillains in boats used to be a thing.
You could always go with, like, a helicopter to go
I'm a classicist.
to that.
Sketch.
What are the helicopter people now?
Yep.
Okay, but if I'm riding a helicopter, I don't want people joining me on a helicopter. I just want to enjoy the experience on a helicopter, man. This isn't my meeting time.
It's difficult to have a conversation on a helicopter.
Exactly. This isn't my meeting time. This is my helicopter time.
Why don't we just go with private jet then?
No, that feels a little like rich person gross.
It's not in the budget. It's not in the budget.
It's not in the budget. I'm on a cruise ship.
But a cruise ship is in the budget.
Yes.
Well, of course.
Okay.
We budgeted for the cruise ship.
Fuel is cheaper for the ship.
Ah.
I am very lost. Okay.
Yeah. So on the villainy train, Yukio enters the compartment where a robed man in a mask claims to be his grandfather. Dun dun dun. Now we're on episode 21.
Yeah.
Which we start out with our precious beloved Chimi listening to the radio, and a figure appears and collapses in the garden. When we know, audience knows, is Neuhaus's wife, and Chimi, being the precious nugget that she is, offers to help her, and all her plants offer as well. I guess they're all anthropomorphic now, which is a fun development. Back on the villain train, Yukio and the supposed grandfather claims that Yukio just looks just like Yuri, their mother. Interesting. Did we know? Actually, I have to pause here. Manga reader. Did we know Yuri was his mother's name? Like in the manga? Because that is her name. Canonically, isn't it?
It is her name. I don't know because I haven't read the manga this far back.
Is it brought up in the trial? Like it was originally in the anime brought up in the trial. So I don't know if that is how that played out in the.
Yeah, I haven't read the manga.
I believe
that part of the story.
Because I believe these episodes that are airing currently are anime original. So
yes.
The only reason I'm saying these are anime originals. These are all non-canonical, because this is the first moment in this episode, like this episode's first moment, Yukio has heard his mother's name, and if you're watching the actual series, there's a separate moment, and I don't feel like I'm giving anything away, where he's told Yuri is their mother, and they say that's the first moment. Yukio acts like that's the first moment.
Yeah, they do. When that happens in a later season, it is a big reveal that that's the name.
Yeah, because we just talked about it on your podcast. So
the
only reason I'm bringing it up is because I'm curious as to whether the creator gave the name of the actual name that they planned on making their mother to whoever wrote this filler arc and let them use it.
Also possible he said, "Oh, that's a cool name. I'm stealing that."
Or it's a massive coincidence. I don't know.
Or it's a massive coincidence. It seems to be the least likely, but it's possible.
No, it's just interesting because it is the actual name of their mother, but Yukio doesn't learn this canonically at this time, and yet it's correct. So I don't know. Anyway, back on track. This man's name is Ernst Friedrich Egan. Yeah, he wants to bring the boys to live with him. Because he's such a great grandfather. He's not sus at all. People in masks are never sus. Never.
He is the red comet. I mean, the nice old man.
He claims that he was imprisoned after surviving the Blue Night with Yuri, who was burnt as a witch by the Grigori after she gave birth to the boys. And Yukio is stupid enough to believe all this without verifying any of it. And I just don't understand. Like, I get it. He's a teenager and he's impressionable, but I thought he'd be a little smarter than that, just to believe the first person that comes around.
Doing some quick checking.
What happened to your mom?
Her name was first mentioned in chapter 14 of the manga. So yeah, it is pretty early on that her name is mentioned, but not to our character.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well that helps.
And look at that. That is the trial. So yeah, that is where that first comes up.
Yeah, so Yukio doesn't verify what Egan is telling him, and he gives him a locket with a photograph that he claims was given to him by Fujimoto. I'm going to keep using this alleged language because I'm not sure I trust anything that comes out of this man's mouth. I find it all extremely convenient personally. Anyway.
He's telling Yukio the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
He's telling Yukio exactly what Yukio wants to hear.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
He takes Yukio without Rin to this Dragoon laboratory where they're experimenting on anti-demon weaponry, and he just sounds a little off. This is like, aside from the whole like I'm seducing Yukio bit with the story about your mother, now we're starting to get a little bit something's wrong here. So back with Rin, he's listening in on Neuhaus's interrogation and bursts in, stating you said that your wife was dead before. And then Shura pipes up and calls her an anti-soul, and they link him to the previously discovered, abandoned, burnt lab and the experiments on artificial life. While Neuhaus admits that he worked there, he denies being the one to resurrect his wife, but he kept her in a cryotube in true Mr. Freeze fashion. I kind of love that, actually.
That is kind of great.
Very Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, loyal. One night, he discovers that his wife, whose name is Michelle, had awoken. And he knows he didn't do it, so he says she'd been possessed. And he discovers, he eventually is discovered with Michelle and accused of being the one to resurrect her. So he's held and his lab is burned in front of him and he's about to be arrested, but they escape together. Plot point. If Neuhaus is working for the Japan branch as a teacher, and then how does all of this make sense within that storyline?
It doesn't.
Exactly.
It really doesn't. I have not had the best opinion of this particular
continuity issue here. But anyway, I don't have a problem with the whole like experimental aspect of this. I do have a continuity problem though.
That is my problem with this whole thing, is it doesn't connect very well.
Yeah.
Which probably is why they retconned it with the Kyoto arc.
Well,
yes.
The Kyoto arc
well,
is
that was
from the manga.
That was the actual manga, which is very good, by the way. Everyone should watch it.
Hopefully on Toonami soon, maybe.
He thinks that she's had some memory of dying in the blue flames, which caused her to go berserk and become obsessed with revenge. And he states that she is nothing but a corpse, which will rot away soon. So it doesn't really matter what they do because she's dying. She's dead anyway, and that's that. I would imagine she's walking around as
I have a lot of things to say to this lady. I want to make you suffer and lose something important to you like I did. Lady, his foster father was killed by the same guy. He has the same grudge you do. What is wrong with you? Come on!
Here. Also, doesn't she smell? Is there active signs of rotting? Like, I have questions about how this spell works.
I just can't get over how much she looks like somebody out of Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh my gosh.
Like, this is a very Full Metal Alchemist plotline.
It is.
We should figure out who wrote this story. Maybe someone will find a connection. There might be a connection here. So yes, Rin, of course, in typical Rin fashion, is gonna go after the runaway Michelle, and Shura sends him with a familiar, but in a it's really funny moment. He's like, I actually know how to use this. Luckily, he gets a call from Shimi, and she's like, I need your help, and of course he's gonna help her because she's precious.
Of course.
And Michelle awakens in this beautiful garden. I want to wake up like that every day. Mm-hmm. And she's surrounded by all these little anthropomorphic flora. And meanwhile, leads Rin to that underground space. But just before he enters it, Shura's familiar gets activated. Oh, that's how it works. And that tells Rin, oh, Michelle must be nearby. I'm really glad that his brain is activated now. I love Rin, but he's a little dumb.
Very dumb.
He's a cutie. He's a cutie, but he's a dummy. So, Shimi and Michelle are having a moment about gardens, which I appreciate. Garden lovers unite. And then Rin arrives and ruins it all by pointing out that she's a threat. And she in turn threatens Shimi with some scissors. That's not funny. But ultimately, okay. No, it's not okay. She breaks down, and Rin tells Shimi that there's nothing, they can't help her. She's already dead. But Shimi fires back that Michelle isn't evil in spite of what she's done. People who love plants can't be evil, right? Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, follow that.
I mean, I can think of a lot of plant villains like Poison Ivy and Bushroot.
Is it bad that I was on their side?
I mean, I was kind of on Ivy's side, but
yeah, me too. Not just because she's hot, but
she's had a redemption arc.
Yeah. That's part of the reason, though. She's hot. That helps.
Yes, very much so.
Yes. So Rin just goes to call Shura to bring Neuhaus. Then he's like, all right. You know, because he trusts Shimi. And of course, Paladin Angel shows up with his posse because he's a jerkface that ruins all the fun. And they go and capture Michelle. But Neuhaus then arrives and he vows to take responsibility for her. And I don't understand this scene. She's dead. And she's supposed to rot away. So what is he taking responsibility for? So what if they took her away and destroyed her? She's dead anyway. Like, where's the what's the loss threshold here? I'm like trying to be sympathetic to what his position is, but it actually doesn't fucking make any sense because he was literally sitting in the interrogation saying, well, she's gonna be rotting away in a few days anyway. Like, okay. And then just like lock her up and put her in a cell or bury her. I don't know. Like, what's the problem here? There actually is no problem here. She hasn't killed anybody. So let's just wrap her up and take her away, you know, and it's fine. And you can spend your last moments with her or whatever. But no, he's like going to get all self-sacrificing and, as he says, take responsibility for her. And then Rin, of course, has to get involved. And it makes a big mess because he's defending Michelle and trying to fight Angel, which there's no way in any form that his sword skills are up to par to be able to take on Angel. I just didn't find that believable at all. Michelle, in turn, is confused by Rin defending her, and then Shura steps in, accurately pointing out that he's not helping the situation. Then someone shoots Michelle, and she dies again in Neuhaus's arm, so it seems. And Neuhaus picks her up and carries and goes to walk away with her. And
this pisses Rin off something fierce. And I'm kind of with him on it. What was the point of shooting her? She was going to die anyway, you duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was upsetting.
Completely pointless.
Well, she wasn't actually, here's the thing, she wasn't actually doing anything. She had no weapon on her. She wasn't hurting anybody. She was just there. So everybody's upset, and as Neuhaus walks away with Michelle in his arms, Shimi protects them from being captured again by using her super plant power, which I love. I love her super plant power. And then the sun shines and bells start ringing, which signals an emergency summons by the Vatican. So Angel's like, well, it's time to go. He shows up at HQ where Ernst Egan is, and oh hey, it's a coup. And the Grigori are out, I'm in, and we're gonna get rid of all the demons, and Yukio's my number one disciple now. Discuss amongst yourselves.
But Yukio, you.
Before I get into this whole coup, I want to actually discuss about like this arc with Michelle. What did you guys think about this whole undead bride bit?
Very Full Metal Alchemist. What more can I say?
Yeah.
And also very Mr. Freeze coded. You know, I feel for Mr. Neuhaus, but at the same time, like, he should have been way more cooperative. He understood the situation. I know he wanted to try and protect Michelle, but being uncooperative did not help him at all.
No, being cooperative would have helped him a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
How does this fit in with where his storyline has been going up until now?
It feels like it came out of nowhere.
It really does.
Like,
Yeah,
we know that he hates demons. You know, he hates Satan. So it's already kind of weird that he's a summoner, but also now we got this whole angle, and I really want to know if any of this is canon to his character, but I feel like it isn't.
I don't actually remember Neuhaus after.
Neuhaus is this kind of
Season
one-off character who kind of gets referenced a couple times, but nothing like this.
Like he hasn't shown up in the past 3 seasons.
He got
So
referenced like once.
Yeah, I don't actually know what happened to him.
He's not an important character at all. They took this character that doesn't really do much, and oh hey, we gave you something.
It's fun that his first name is Igor.
Yes, master.
Why would you do that to your child? It's mean. Bad parenting. Bad.
It
I
feels
don't
like
need.
Go ahead.
Go. No, you go ahead.
He feels like a tragic character. Like
Yes.
He does.
it's like, oh, you know, my wife's dead, and you know, now she came back to life, and now he has to suffer through all that again. And it's like, oh, feel bad for me, feel bad. I'm, you know, more emo than Rin and everyone else. I live in a clock tower, you know, with my, you know, what he is, like some wrench sword type thing, and it's like, oh, I do that. He feels like they're trying to make him tragic in emo, and he probably is that, but it's not going where it's not going down the path that you would think. Like there should be some redemption for him, and it's like, no, he's just a sad guy who, you know, put his wife in some chamber, and all of a sudden she's back to life again. It's like, oh, okay, you know.
Who brought her back to life?
It's
That's the question, isn't it?
It's like, first off, why would you store her in there? There's plenty of places that can store dead bodies, but you have to take her and put her in, you know, something, and then like, yeah, I don't know what this world's about, but you know,
if he wasn't gonna revive her, why did he keep her body?
And then he did enough to keep her body inside this chamber, but then there's flowers around it. Like, you know, you stole her from, you know, the coffin and put her in this new coffin, and it's like, oh, you were planning on doing something, even though you might have not been thinking that she's going to come back alive or doing whatever. You're planning on doing something weird with her.
I mean, he was one of the researchers at that place.
But
I don't know. I don't know if this is at all true, but I mean, why? If if everything is being orchestrated by Granddad, why not this too?
It's the most likely outcome.
I don't know why he would do it. It seems kind of pointless. But
to control the Clone Wars.
Maybe we'll
execute
never
order
know.
66.
Yeah. I'm fine in theory with these, mini arcs. My issue is that the connectivity is really grasping here.
I really wish
they created a character arc for Neuhaus where he was a sinister figure with his own agenda, and then suddenly we made a hard left turn into this business. It's like, okay, if you want to talk about his work in the laboratory, that's an interesting story. Let's talk about that. But we had to bring in Michelle and all this business. Like, it didn't add anything for me. Like, they should have made Neuhaus the central part of this and just explored that more. Instead, they threw all the laboratory stuff at us like really quickly. Like, I had almost whiplash from trying to keep up with what was important out of that storyline outside of the emotional aspect, and then adding the wife, and it just all that felt unnecessary. They should have just focused on him as the quote villain or redeemed villain or whatever of that part of the story, and let that play out the way it was supposed to.
Actually, it would have been at least a bit more compelling if he was the one to resurrect his wife, and then was like, "Oh, I've made a terrible mistake."
Yeah.
Yes,
they
that
didn't
would have been
even say
interesting.
he was married in any of the stuff, and it's like, oh,
he did say
married?
that he lost his family.
Yeah, that's about it. It's like, is that one small little detail plot point that's like a throwaway line? Oh, now you have to remember. Oh,
But remember,
had
it's
a
his whole
family?
motivation.
Yeah,
or at least it was. I don't know. Also, Shamy's creatures put them up in a big flower bowl and oh, okay, they're just gonna be in there, I guess.
forever and ever.
We don't see what happens after. It also feels rather contrived that this woman would have any kind of connection to the mystical garden that Shiemi is all about. Maybe it's like, well, we should do something with Shiemi.
It's not the only contrived bit of this story arc.
There's so much contrived.
It's such a shame because they do have some crumbs here of good story. Like I said, the whole experimenting business, interestingly enough, there's parts of that are canon, unrelated to this, and I'm not going to say more than that, but that actually make for very interesting story. They could have included that and focused on it more, and it would not have taken away from where they picked up, canonically, and made that part of this storyline, really made that the focus. That was interesting. They made a point of having the barrier went down. Neuhaus clearly was responsible. He let this demon in, and when the barrier went down, they were able to find this laboratory. It was also sinister. That was a whole thing. That was a thread. They didn't follow that thread. It just frayed. And then
hey guys, never mind.
Yeah.
It's bad sewing. Bad use of your threads. And I'm mad about it.
Yep.
Because
it doesn't
have to be this bad. It doesn't have to be this bad. It can be.
They could have been a little more hands off on the larger issue, and it could have made it so that it actually connects better to Kyoto. So they could have actually, been like, oh, this is the story that could have happened. Instead, it's literally, it's this or that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them because of the time that this show was.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand why they went off on their own direction. What I don't understand is why they decided we're going to go deep into the story of Rin and Yukio's parentage, and we're going to introduce a family member, and why?
Understand why they didn't let Kuro solve the problem, because there's 10 problems
there you go
by now.
Kuro can solve all of the problems.
That's why they won't let him, because they know he's he's the thing that would nerf the storyline.
Kuro will take Granddad and play with him like a yarn ball.
Yep.
Yes. Speaking of Kuro, as we enter into episode 22, we have this iconic opening of Kuro waking Rin up, which is funny. It made me think about how, like, this isn't actually a canonical storyline, and yet that is the most memorable memorable gif from the whole series, where Kuro's waking up Rin. It's just adorable, and I love it. That's how my cat wakes me up. And anyway, yes, the academy is being shut down as a result of the hostage crisis, and everybody's under new management, just to sum up all the complicated stuff. Basically, reflecting back on the coup that took place. That sure took place quickly. That's the fastest fucking coup ever.
I love how
where's the Grigori? Don't worry about it.
Angel's just like, what are you doing? Don't worry about it.
And then he's there and he's in charge. So I guess it all just worked out. Like,
I love how they just dismiss Angel, like, you're not the pilot anymore. Go away. And he's just like, oh, okay, bye.
Yeah.
There should be something with
character,
and he's just like, oh,
fine
okay.
with it. He's fine with this.
I mean, he has minor anger, and then she's like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm out. Peace.
Wait, not only that, he's replaced by Yukio as the new paladin. Yukio is now the director of the Japan branch, and he's the new paladin. This 15-year-old inexperienced wanker. It's completely hilarious.
It's nepotism.
He's like, well, excuse me, we're like the same rank, and I have a lot more experience.
Yeah. He doesn't have the skill or experience for either. And Shura accurately, again, wonders what the new pope has been smoking. A lot more than
nepotism. It's all the nepotism. Grandpa wants his grandkid in.
I even understand, like even looking at this from Yukio's perspective, like, on what planet do you think you're qualified to do any of this? Not 15-year-old me would have been like, no, fuck that. I'll be there right next to you, but I'm not taking control of all these things because I don't want to be blamed for when it all goes.
I don't want to deal with this
shit. I don't know how bad canon Yukio gets, but this is like character assassination at this point.
Yeah, basically.
Not as much as you'd think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that gets interesting.
I don't know.
It is. It's not.
I'm very biased, so it's hard for me to say, and it's hard for Laser to say because he also doesn't like Yukio. But
I do and I don't. He is one of my favorite. He is one of my favorite characters, but I hit my head against the wall repeatedly watching him make poor decisions.
Okay, yeah. So this is objectively worse for his character than what actually happened to him.
Yes. Although I did title the episode that we did, God damn it, Yukio. So
yeah,
that's the fair answer. Of him making poor decisions is not that out of character.
Yes, it's the difference between Yukio making poor decisions and Yukio becoming a megalomaniac, which is what's happening right now.
Yes. He's not that. He's not that.
He's the new director of Japan branch. He's the new paladin, and the Pope is smoking something. That's where we're at. So Rin's only mad because he's like, well, why didn't you tell me? I guess they seem to make up, which actually that fits. Like, I don't see Rin being mad about anything other than like, well, you should have told me. Like, he's not the type to hate on his brother.
Yeah, he's all like, why didn't you send me a text? Oh, yeah. My bad. I'll do that next time.
Yeah,
next time. Next time.
Yeah. So Egan has this new dogma, which involves exterminating every demon, and he calls it Operations Jacob Ladder. Oh, guess who the commander of this new mission is? Guess.
Kuro.
It's certainly not any of the hundreds of other qualified exorcists. It is the 15-year-old supposed grandson who, yes, add to his big set of responsibilities. Now he's in charge of this new mission that he's completely unqualified for.
We're going to destroy hell itself.
Yeah. So we see the scene. Yeah, I guess.
A good idea? Question mark?
Sure. I don't know. I'm okay with the concept of hell. There needs to be a place for all the bad people to go. So
yeah.
Let's just leave it alone. That aside,
I have theological questions out the butt for that, but yeah.
Ryuji gets a new gun, and this is only important because he observes that it is absorbing. He is told that it absorbs the power of the demon it kills. And all the kids are getting new weapons, which don't really seem to suit them or their abilities. But there's a little bit of suspicion amongst them because they're not stupid children. And they're all fighting demons, and they feel something's just not right about this. It feels like a purge, and they're taking a lot of the good with the bad. So we get a flashback to Egan telling Yukio that Rin can be human again. All they have to do is destroy Gehenna. It's just convenient. Like, this is probably the nicest Yukio is about his brother, because, like, then you get a sense of, oh, he's only this zealot. This level of zealousness because he's trying to save his brother or something.
Because he was told that I can help you save Padme.
Sure.
I'm not giving up on that train. It's the perfect comparison.
Hey, no, you go. You ride that train. You ride that train, Laser. I'm there with you. It is funny because, like, this was the brief moment where I really wanted to give it to Yukio, like, oh, his intentions are noble. But there's two ways to look at him. He either wants to get rid of everything bad so they could be normal, or he wants to be more powerful than his brother. And both of them have a very sinister undercurrent to them.
And so full stop. He pointed a gun at the kitty.
Yeah. Well, we haven't gotten there yet, but yes. Yeah. Fuck that guy. Excuse me. So yes. So he's supposedly doing this because they're going to destroy Gehenna, and even though that doesn't make sense, sure, he's already boarded the stupid train, so let's all ride it with you. And they have this weapon, which is like the anti-demon equivalent of a nuclear weapon, and they call it the Messiah, because why not?
Of course.
And Egan reveals that they need demon blood to keep the portal open in order to shoot the demon anti-nuke the demon nuke into Gehenna. He also reveals that he knows about Yukio's arm, so this is also going to solve his problem. It's very convenient. So back to the kids who are camping out. We see another example of how bad this has gotten, because this giant boar appears and attacks, saying that they're destroying all the creatures that protect the forest, which is super not cool. That's not cool. And what's more uncool...
Somebody's taking tips from Mononoke.
Yeah, I was like, is this Princess Mononoke now?
It feels like it.
Not the first reference we've had tonight.
Should have put up some landmines.
I sent the episode title. but yeah, he slaughters the boar like a psycho. Do you drown kittens and step on new plants too, Yukio? Well, apparently he does something similar, because then he points the gun at Kuro. Because
cool,
the brother
Yukio.
points out, yeah, not cool. He's like, well, are you gonna kill all our friends who are demons like Kuro? Oh my god, I swear to God, I think I'd purposefully blacked out this moment because I didn't remember it, and when I watched it, I was like, oh no, you're not shooting the cat. Don't you dare touch my precious Kuro. And he is literally gonna do it. And then Ren defends him, but like his demonic arm, I guess, his weird creepy arm with the claws.
Yukio has claws now.
Knocks him out. Yeah, he knocks his brother out, and poor Kuro smartly runs away. Poor baby. I'll protect you, Kuro. I'll protect you.
There's no coming back from that one, Yukio.
No, you suck. You suck.
You've
I
gone too
can't
far.
believe this, like, even if he's like trying to do this for his brother, literally, like, come on, Kuro's like the most precious nugget of all. Of all. He's the best.
You of all people, Yukio, should understand that not all demons are bad.
Yes, he should.
He does.
He literally teaches that.
He does. He really should know this, and this is where the character assassination comes in.
This
He
is
should
where,
know
like,
better.
Bad writing.
Like these like filler episodes kind of do a lot of weird things with these characters, which I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is not how this character would react in this type of situation. It's just very odd.
Like, Yukio behaving badly can be a thing. He's been known to do that.
Badly. That's the
Yes, that's what he does often, but oh gosh, like, not to this level.
Yeah. It is pretty upsetting because it's pretty sinister. You know, Kuro's just sitting there on Ren's shoulder, like living his best little life, trying to eat camp food, and he gets a gun pointed at him. Like, what happened? What alternate universe did we walk in that we're gonna point a gun at a little cat? Come on.
Yeah.
And he's the nicest little cat too. He helps cook food or something. Well, he helps eat food, but he tells you the food's good, and that's important too.
Give Kuro the army rations. By the way, the army rations look like really good, like a nice box lunch. Those are not American army rations.
Yeah, it almost looks like TV dinner a bit.
They do look like TV dinners.
I do like to call TV dinners army rations.
I always like the mashed potatoes the best. I don't know why. Like, I always love TV dinner mashed potatoes.
Those are always they're all right.
They're okay.
I mean, it's not hard to do good mashed potatoes. You can get like a cup of mashed potatoes and put it in the microwave and get good mashed potatoes.
We're solidly average, but like that's the best.
Well, yeah, you're
the TV dinner.
If you want really good mashed potatoes, you got to get the actual potatoes. But yeah.
Of course, homemade mashed potatoes trump everything.
Oh yeah.
My favorite side. Yeah. So, Kuro runs away. Smart kitty. And Yukio takes knocked out Ren to Vatican HQ. And there, Shura's there and asks him, like, have you lost your freaking mind? And then she pulls his sleeve back and sees his arm. And it's like, oh, okay. What's going on here? Meanwhile, Ryuji calls his Lady Blacksmith friend. And I like that they threw back to her. She's a character solely for the filler, and they brought her back, so I appreciate that. And he asks her about the weapons and sends pictures of the whatever the thing had been written on the weapon, and she says that they're apparently blood-sucking weapons dating back to a Romanian count. Very nice. I like what she did there. Vampiric weapons aside, Ryuji is very sus about all of this and wants to confront Yukio himself, but they decide to go to Mr. Tsubaki instead because he's more likely to reveal what's going on.
Yeah, go talk to a teacher who'll actually say something.
Yeah. Rin wakes up in the dungeon and sees Mephisto there with his suspiciously shaped hamster, a Maimon-shaped hamster. I still love. And Mephisto tells him, go on.
I said it's Hamtaro.
Yes.
Hamtaro.
He's in a Maimon-shaped Hamtaro.
There you go.
Yes.
A Maimtaro.
It's the crossover you didn't know you needed.
Only time Hamtaro will be back on the block.
Oh, God, somebody's got to license it. Discotech, please save it. Please.
Please, Discotech. Mr. Discotech.
Every Discotech day, I pray for Hamtaro.
Don't let Darrell hear you say that.
Don't let Logan hear you say that.
He can hear it. I don't care. I want Hamtaro back. Gimme.
This very divisive hamster. Anyway, Mephisto tells him a story about experiments on artificial life and how he had abandoned the project ages ago, but his disciples picked up that research and had continued it for decades on. And then he turns into his terrier form and escapes with his
using the Force to even create life, does not beat the Darth Plagueis allegations.
Yeah. Also, he has drawing skills about equivalent to Rukia's. Or maybe a bit worse, actually.
God.
Yeah.
Got a 5-year-old's ability to draw with crayons.
I think a 5-year-old's better.
You're probably right.
Like, everyone's a critic. Hey, you gonna get me out of this cage? No can do, young man.
Nope. That's not part of my story. So
he let himself get captured just to have this conversation, I guess? Because he could have left at any time.
Sure, I guess that makes sense. Which implies it implies that he knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, he probably did.
I mean that does fit with his character. That does fit with his character.
Mm-hmm.
So back to Pope Egan, the psychopath. He says something about a ceremony to Angel, who's just fine, I guess, not being the paladin anymore, which doesn't fit with his
fine.
character
What's
arc.
he doing around?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm not the paladin anymore, but I'm not going to defect? That doesn't seem
Yeah.
right.
He's
He
got
should
nothing
be-
to do.
He legit should be fighting tooth and nail for the Grigori, because him saying "Where the Grigori" was actually the most in character thing he did.
Yeah.
This guy is a master of the status quo. He's a creature of the status quo. You break that, he's gonna be mad about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not just going to go along with it.
It's like, oh, you're the Pope now? Okay. Yes, Massa, I will do whatever you say.
I
Guy.
can't believe you just did that.
I probably shouldn't have.
Anyway.
It's okay. He's white.
He is white.
So, Egan then introduces himself to Rin, and he's like, I'm your grandfather! Okay. And we get a quick shoot over back to the children. This is the most whiplash of an episode, I swear to God.
Oh my gosh.
So much whiplash in this episode.
Yeah.
The kids learn that Rin's supposed to be executed in some sort of ceremony, assuming the ceremony that Egan was referencing to Angel, and that will take place on the roof of True Cross Academy, and it's all
course it
got
will.
very culty very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
The kids rush to the roof, but are blocked by Angel because he has nothing better to do than to keep children from rescuing their friend. Even though he was previously the paladin, which is the highest ranking person, he's just fine being a lackey, I guess. And Rin is strung up on a cross, but it's like X-shaped cross. Not the T-shaped
Like Wolverine.
cross. Yeah.
It's when they say, instead of saying, X or whatever, it's cross.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Well, wouldn't the
Okay.
X be silent?
Oh, that's only that works with Hunter x Hunter. Yeah.
That's too meta for me. Anyway, all the weapons are piled up together. All of the blood-sucking weapons are piled up together in piles around in a circle. And then the culty exorcists begin chanting. And you see blood leaking from the weapons into a giant pool, forming what looks to be a portal. Egan draws a sword, and then I guess he electrocutes Rin with some kind of blue lightning. I'm just saying what happened. I didn't understand what was happening, but that's what I saw. Back with the with our team of teens. Shura shows up to defend them against Angel, and also Mr. Sugaki, who's clearly unqualified to be sword fighting. And takes him on, and then the teens run up to the roof where Rin is being tortured, and Yukio arrives, and he's like, wait a minute, that's not what we agreed. And Egan's like, no, I'm sacrificing Rin to open this gate. And Yukio's upset. Maybe you shouldn't have thrown in so quickly with this guy, Yukio.
So I gotta say it. What? Is Rin okay? No, it would seem in your stupidity you've killed him.
Oh God.
That's perfect. Excellent. Which more or less, when the teens arrive, they see some kind of gate has been opened, and Rin and a bunch of other people are down on the ground, and guess who's covered in blue flames? Yukio. So let's talk about this.
What a mess.
I've got
Yeah.
Oh, this is a hot mess of a
Yeah.
Very much.
story.
Let's start with the whole coup with the Egan coup. Just start with that. What do you guys think about that?
Why does literally anyone go along with this? What hold does this man have that we could just ignore the freaking Grigori completely and totally, and everyone's totally okay with that?
And it happened like in 5 minutes by someone supposedly in jail who came out of nowhere, and
we're all okay with this. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. We have no problem.
Everyone.
Nobody's fighting back against this except for a bunch of teenagers and one 20-something. Age not defined.
I keep making the Palpatine joke for Yukio. It kind of makes sense. He's been ego pushed. I can see why he fell for it, even though I don't think he'd go along with this in general. But the idea of Yukio's ego being used against him, that at least makes some amount of sense. But literally everyone else, why is this being allowed to happen? Where are the Grigori anyway? Yeah,
where are the Grigori?
Like, okay, I supersede them. We don't need to move. Where'd they go? What are they doing? They just let you. They and all their servants just let you do this. Also, let's nuke hell. Why is this a good idea?
How does that even work?
I'm pretty sure God did not say let's go nuke hell.
No. Well, like his whole spiel that he pitched is like, we're gonna take the fight to them. I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. There's a lot of demon activity. We should probably crack down a bit. But everybody quickly picks up and is like, wait, no, this is indiscriminate killing, and this doesn't feel right. Like, all the kids are like, this doesn't feel right. Also, why are you giving those kids guns?
Did you see the weapons he's given them? It's like the lore behind it.
It's
like he got them from Dracula in Transylvania. It's like you got guns from a vampire that takes demon blood, and you think something's right about that. There's something not right about any of that whole thing.
And it blows him back after he shoots it.
Yeah.
Which honestly, that's a funny little detail. I kind of love that. He's like, I'm here. He's ready to be all manly and save his friend, and the blowback from the weapon knocks him down.
Like, you know what? Maybe I should stick to what I know.
Did you see the weapons they have? It's like shotguns, machine guns, taking out a snake with a giant rocket launcher. One, it's like, so they just put that seal on there like a sticker, and it's like the Transylvania Dracula vampire dude has all of these weapons stockpiled just in case he was going to take over the world or some odd thing. But
it's like the Lord always said, is that we give life and then we giveth a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I love the image of little Kona Komaru with his like machine gun. I was like, oh my god, you poor child. Put that down.
Then he picked up the noisy cricket.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? It looked like a wand.
And you get the sniper rifle of salvation. and you get the flintlock of righteousness.
Why are you giving us bow and arrows? Like, well, you could take the grimoire.
And Ryuji, you get the bazooka of forgiveness.
We'll stick to.
But did you see how they?
Looks the size of my desk.
Did you see the size of that grimoire? Right, that thing's a huge book, and then they go. Then they show the next scene where they're like, okay, they didn't want that. They stick with the bow and arrows. And then they show the next scene of them all like hunting these demons. And it shows these group of 4 guys have the grimoire on the same stand. It's like, what? Are you transporting the stand too? Is that a part of the weapon? Is that the book? The book sits on the stand.
The book is very heavy.
You have to like put the stand down. You have to do all this stuff. It's like, it comes with it. Why isn't floating like 5 minutes later?
Doesn't seem practical, but it is effective.
Like, just bring the stand along. Bring this along. Does it need a bookmark? I don't know. Bring that along.
Not lie. I want
the
that
book also absorbs demon blood.
I'll take the book. I'd rather the book than a big gun that I couldn't use.
The pen may be mightier than the sword, but is the book mightier than the gun?
These are questions.
4 people are using it, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This is such ridiculousness.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, so now we go from Yukio being complicit and suddenly being in charge of everything. So if we were to believe that somehow this coup was accepted, on what planet would all of these exorcists accept this child in charge of all of these very important projects?
That's a good question.
That would have been a coup itself.
Yeah. You want me to listen to who now? What? No. Right now, today, me, adult me, if someone said, you're gonna listen to this 15-year-old, I would laugh in their face and be gone so fast. Like, that's not happening. No way. No way.
Sorry, whoever wrote this, you've our suspense of disbelief it's too much.
Yeah.
We can no
there
longer
are rules, and you broke them.
So
a lot of them.
This is leading up. This is supposed to be leading up to this arc of Yukio being corrupted himself by Satan, which is something that you could see they were leading up to always, and that is a storyline I can get on board with. I just don't know why they have to involve this whole shit with Egan. Like, they could have he didn't need to be in any of he could be written out and they could have still continued with the storyline. There are other ways they could have pursued this corruption of Yukio without having this random coup, this completely unbelievable coup, and this weird portal shit. You know, like this, there's probably 5 other ways off the top of my head with what this non-canon story has given us. I could say they could have done differently and had Yukio still lead up to this moment of him being this vessel for Satan, which is what's implied at the end of the episode. Maybe they should hire me.
Maybe they should.
Maybe.
We'll go back in time. 15 years? I'll help you rewrite this to make it better. I'll bring a couple of you guys with me. It'll be great. We just want t-shirts.
That's all we've ever asked for. Well, I would like a
Tom credits.
I want a Tom action figure. That's what I really want.
All right, fair.
Yeah, man, I want that.
All right, we all have different
prices. I legit wanted
cheap.
that reaction figure so bad. And nope.
Writing credits would be good, yes. But we still come pretty cheap. Travel back in time. We'll fix the story for you and make it work. I don't like disrespecting a show that I like, though. Like, generally I try to be apologetic about things and be like, well, maybe they were doing this. And I do genuinely love Blue Exorcist. I just don't like this arc because, as we have pointed out, there's so many places where it doesn't follow any kind of logical storyline from what they've set up. Everything up until then, they've given us all the tools that make sense with what's happened. Everything with Rin and Yukio, with Father Fujimoto, even with Kuro, it all has made sense. And then when they start deviating, because they're not following the rules that they laid out in the story, that's why it doesn't work. That's why we're making fun of it. It's like writing 101. I feel like you have to know your source material, and I would love to hear eventually what Lum thinks of this, because they pointed out that, you know, they were working under different circumstances, but even forgetting, like, putting aside what I know happens, what I know happened up until, like, the forest arc, there's a lot of great, rich material there to work with. There was a lot of mysteries that they could have tugged at and pushed, you know, and added into this storyline. It could have been done better.
Indeed.
Absolutely agree.
Indubitably.
Where we're at now in Blue Exorcist, though I've enjoyed poking fun at this, even though I love the show. I don't love this arc.
Oh yeah, no, Blue Exorcist is one of my favorite things. I just don't like this arc either.
It's hard to believe it can get even more stupid than this.
Yes, because I've seen it before.
This is about where I was like, nope, I'm done.
Understandable.
Completely.
I'm telling you, though, the Kyoto arc is so freaking good. It's so good, Sketch. You have to watch it.
Kyoto is absolutely fire. You'll love it.
I've been mostly like enjoying my rewatch of it, but yeah, like when I got to like these few episodes, I've just been like, what the fuck is going on here?
Understandable.
Checked out. Sam, have you seen anything past this?
No.
Okay.
I have literally only watched season 1 of Blue Exorcist because I was waiting for it to come to Toonami for the Kyoto arc, but it never came, unfortunately.
Are you
Hopefully it comes.
still open-minded about watching Kyoto?
Of course.
Okay.
Because I know that this doesn't affect the actual story of the manga. This doesn't affect the rest of the anime. And the actual canon stuff that they adapted from is really good and really strong and really well written. But this is not. This is just...
This ain't it, Chief.
Have you read it? Have you read it?
No, I have not read the manga.
Steven, do you think there is a disparity between these past few episodes and the first half of what we watched of the season?
There is. It tries to build up to a certain point, and then it gets it messes itself up. I don't know.
Derailed.
Yeah, it gets derailed, and it's like, oh, Grandpa's in town, and now he wants to take over the world. It's like, fine. It's like you're
Well,
going to...
why though?
Yeah, why? There's no point in saying, you're trying to say that the Vatican is like this weird organization that's trying to take Ren out, and Ren wants to kill Satan and all this other stuff. And now, Grandpa's in charge. Now everyone's against Ren again. It's like, are you just doing this just to show how powerful Ren is? Are you trying to do that? What's the message here? What's it's trying to say? And I don't know. I don't know what it's trying to say. It's just trying to say, hey, is this typical, shonen anime that's, just trying to say, hey, yeah, we're gonna knock the main character down a few pegs. He'll rise back up, knock him down again, rise back up, and it's like, oh, he'll be okay in the end. He'll maybe defeat Satan, or maybe just be friends with all the human and demons, and unite this world, because that's what those two brothers are destined to do. And then
I love that storyline.
Yeah, I got two problems with kind of the main thing of it. Okay, so Ren is a demon, but then his brother has this rash on him that could turn him fully demon. But it's like Ren doesn't have any rash that does that.
Yeah.
He just has flames. But they're twins. They should be sharing this stuff. And then you have Grandpa in the picture coming in wearing a mask. And it's like, what's hiding behind that mask? Are you having the same skin problem as, your grandson over here?
I think it's
or
burns.
Are you a fully demon,
Excellent.
He survived the Blue Night, but I think he got burned.
Yeah, he needs to put some aloe on that, because, those burns aren't healing right now. He's just on fully rage mode, going after everyone.
He just wants the Phantom of the Opera look.
Yeah, it's like, and then you're okay with killing your grandson. I mean,
that's a little bit like where that narrative Ludo narrative dissonance kicks in for me, because it's like, that's so disconnected from everything else. Because you get this sense that he does care about his grandkids, but at a point, what are you doing trying to hurt your own grandson?
Don't worry, he's going to die a hero. Okay, but that's like Magneto saying, he's going to die for all of us. It's like, okay, you're so great, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah.
You can't open the door another way? I mean, there's about a couple of ways that we've seen in the show that they open that door, already. And it's like, one just appeared already. And it's like, there's no other way you can figure out to open the door. You got a giant grimoire over there that's sitting on a stand that these couple of dudes haul around. You got a vampire in Transylvania, putting stickers on guns that can absorb blood. And you're thinking, oh, I can only open the door because my grandson's a demon. And now I have
they
to kill
did say
him.
It was a count. So are they implying it's Dracula?
It's like, you got a little bit of I don't know if that's like these, the storytellers, the writers spinning a wheel and saying, "Hey, let's see if this dart can hit one of the characters today, and let's do something with him." It's like, did you run out of ideas? Did you have like some writers, brain cramp or in there? It's like you're forgetting half the stuff going on. It's like, or you just wanted to make something interesting, and it's like, just throw this guy in there. It'll happen. We'll figure it out. A couple episodes down the road. That's my rant on it.
Some great insight.
Otherwise, it's a good show.
It is. Other than this, it is. I think it's clear that we're all able to recognize a deviation in an otherwise solid show with some interesting setup. So we're gonna get through this all together, guys. We're here. We're here for each other.
I'm gonna stick it out this time. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Are you saying we fight together?
You might actually not hate this ending. Like, I feel like
the last episode of this is probably the only good thing about this whole little mini arc.
It's been a while, but
it's been 10 years for me, so I don't remember it.
Yeah, in any case,
my memory holds so much of this show.
This is yet another
wish
problem
I had.
Kuro would have solved, but he was smart. He actually hightailed it out of there because he was like, he didn't want his friend to shoot him. So, yeah, poor kitty. But if he showed up now during all this nonsense, I bet you he'd have no problem taking down like Flaming Yukio. Like, bitch, I'll put my paw on you and you could do nothing about it.
That's right. We need a Kuro.
I mean, as an owner of a demon cat myself, I can tell you mine is very small, but very... she's a lot.
But okay? What I'm hearing is we need a hero.
We need a Kuro.
Calling out for a hero?
Yes.
Holding out for a Kuro.
Holding out for a Kuro.
Holding out for a Kuro! That's the other name for this episode. I think that's a good wrap-up. It's a good place to wrap up, Sketch. What do you think?
I think so. I think so.
That was fun.
Yes, it was fun. It was a enjoyable couple of conversations. So, if you have any thoughts about Lazarus or Blue Exorcist or anything involving Toonami, you can email us at podcast@toonamifaithful.com. You can follow us on facebook.com/ToonamiFaithfulPodcast and on Twitter @ToonamiPodcast. You can listen to the podcast on just about everything, including Apple Podcasts, CastBox, Deezer, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Podbay, Podbean, Podcast Addict, Radio.com, Spotify, and the TuneIn app. And if some of our episodes have recently disappeared from Spotify, there's a music dispute, because of course there is. Hopefully we can get them back up. You can find every episode of the podcast to stream online at soundcloud.com/Toonami Faithful Podcast and get the latest news by following @ToonamiFaithful.com on Blue Sky and @Toonami News on Twitter, and read the news, views, and reviews on ToonamiFaithful.com. Okay. Special guest, Sam, tell the folks where they can find you.
You can find me on Blue Sky at SZ Universe, and working on stuff for Toonami Squad.
Cool. Laser, tell the folks about your other show.
Yes, you can find me on social media at LaserKid Prime on Twitter and LaserKid at LaserKid on Blue Sky, but I also have a fun other podcast where I talk about simuldubs with my buddy Archangel, who's been over here a couple times. It's called Simuldub Saints. At Simuldub Saints on all the fun places. Simuldub Saints on YouTube, primary place for it. Kuro's been on there. Sketch has been on there. It's a good time. We have an upcoming episode I'm in the middle of editing where we're going to go over the top anime of winter 2025, or I should say Simuldubs of winter 2025.
Ooh. Okay. And Kuro, tell the folks where they can find you.
You can find me on both Blue Sky and Twitter at Happy Kuro Kitty.
And you can find Paul Pascrillo at Paul Pascrillo on Twitter and also Blue Sky. And you can find me at Sketch1984 on and this guy, look me up, Sketch1984. Yeah, that is a show. And yeah. We will continue to cover Lazarus week to week. Next episode, we'll probably talk about common side effects, because we got a couple of episodes to talk about that. Yeah. We got some other stuff in the pipes. We already mentioned the interview we did with Stephanie Nadolny. That will either be out now or out soon. Look forward to that. And we got some other things cooking. But we will continue to do weekly podcasts as long as Lazarus is doing weekly episodes. You know, within reason. Stuff happens. We might have to cover 2 episodes 1 week. It is whatever it is. And if you're listening live, thanks for tuning in. If you're listening later, thanks for listening. I always appreciate your listenership. Be sure to share the podcast with your friends if you think they'd be interested. Come on back next time, and we will continue to talk about all things Toonami as they occur. And check out that music video thing, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, April 26th at 3 a.m. That should be pretty cool. We talked about it at the beginning of this show, and it would probably be worth your time if you like animated music video things. So yeah, until next time, we're starting a coup?
Have you ever heard the tale of Darth Egan the Wise? It's not a story Blue Exorcist would tell you, but we put it in here anyway.